Oh, hello, it is I, your boy Gomi, and we are back with another UFC fight night. We're looking at UFC Kansas City. Ian Machado Garry taking on Carlos Prates. An actually very good fight night. Yes, usually after they have a stacked card, they put on some slop, but this card is actually pretty decent. I like this card. Also last week we did not last week, the week before last week, forgive me, we did very well, actually, historically well. I actually went 7 for 9 on my official bets. Only thing I missed Volkanovski versus Lopez to end inside the distance, and also I missed what was the loser? It was an awful split decision. Sumadarji fought against him. Mitraposo. I picked Mitraposo to win. Ugh. Otherwise, I hit almost everything. Gene Silva finishing Bryce Mitchell. Reyes finishing Krylov. Ige finishing Woodson. I got all those. Those are pretty solid. Verna, I got money line. Yeah. Overall, it was a very solid card. Betting wise, entertainment wise, and everything's good. So let's hope that this fight night follows suit. Usually it doesn't, but I have faith in this one. I have faith. I have absolute faith. So, I said it's a very good card, but we have to get through some slop. Simple as that. There's no ifs, ands, or buts or any way around it. The UFC doesn't have... It has too much crap to be able to push out consistently good fight nights where the whole card's good. So, when we get to the main card, this is sunshine and rainbows across the board. This Chelsea Chandler versus Jocelyn Edwards. This is not a good fight. Chandler, I don't think is good. I'm sorry to say. She has good wrestling, but I really question her heart. Her stand-up is ass, and I'm gonna bring it up every time she fights. But her running away full speed and hitting the fence is the funniest thing I've ever seen in any MMA match, to be honest with you. I've been watching since 2003 back in Pride, and I can't think of anything funnier than her just full-on sprinting. Yes, the yellow Speedo wasn't as funny. Muhammad Mokaev pantsing cop wasn't as funny. Like, I'm thinking about everything. Johnny Walker dislocating his shoulder wasn't as funny. That was the funniest thing. Jocelyn Edwards, on the other hand, is very pretty technical. I say pretty as in her style. I'm not a fan of either of these women in terms of looks, but to each their own. Pretty kickboxer. She goes the distance. She doesn't have any power or pop in her shots, and she has tons of split decisions. She's someone who really fights down to her opponents, and she's already pretty low herself. And takedowns have been a sore spot, which is an avenue for Chelsea Chandler, but come on. I'm going to be taking Edwards' decision haphazardly. I don't give a damn who's the favorite. I'm not betting on this. I wouldn't be shocked who's favorite. All right, I'm going on a pretty big favorite. Minus 290 for Jocelyn Edwards. Ooh, God, no, I wouldn't bet that, but I'm picking it. I wouldn't bet it. Timmy Kwamba versus Robert Romero. Is this the short notice one? One of these is very short notice because the other dude is a freaking pedophile. I don't even think it's on here yet, actually. Oh, no, Elder. Elder was supposed to fight against the pedophile. But, yeah. Timmy Kwamba versus Roberto Romero. Kwamba has had some spotty performances, to be honest with you. I think he's a little bit more skilled and he has a little bit better striking, but Romero's just more of a dog. I'm more impressed with him. I like his cardio. I think he could grind out a decision better. So I'm going to be leaning towards him, but it's going to be another haphazardly one. I'm not super stoked about picking either of these guys, but I just think Roberto Romero is just going to be slightly better. In my honest opinion, I'm picturing he's probably going to be like a massive underdog. Is he? Nope, he's a favorite again. All right, Roberto Romero is going to be a minus 115 favorite over Timmy Kwamba at minus 105. I'm going to be taking also Roberto Romero by decision as well, too. Jacqueline Amorim versus Poliana Viana. I'm also going to bring this up every time she fights, but Viana is the one who Colby asked her to finger his butthole, and she said no. Do with that what you will. Viana, her grappling is okay. She's more experienced. and that's a good benefit. And she has really good BJJ, but she gets submitted by Veronica Hardy, ? That's why I say her grappling is only okay. She's supposedly a world champion BJJ expert, but when it comes to MMA, I think it's more so a wrestling issue. I think that's really what it is. Amarim, she's a greener fighter, but I just still think she's more polished, more composed, and I can see her beat her just better grappling overall, mob cage pushing, maybe even a takedown here and there, but be wary of Viana's guard. Otherwise, it's a very do-nothing fight. I'm just going to be going with, I feel, the fresher fighter. These two, I think, are pretty, in my honest opinion. Still, probably would not. I'm not into girls muscular and no, I'm taller than them. I'm not into muscular girls, to be honest with you, especially fighters. But these are both really pretty. But who gives a damn about my taste? I don't give a damn about my taste. We're talking about fights. And now we're about to talk about why you should not bet on these fights. Because Jesus H. Christ, Jacqueline Amarim, who I'm picking to win by decision, is minus 550 compared to Viana at plus 410. I would never put any sort of minus 550 kind of money on a Jacqueline Amarim. I really wouldn't. If she was minus 115, I'd bet her right now. Or an underdog. I really would. I think that's one you could bet on. But this? It's not even dog or pass. It's piss off. It's piss right off with this, Vegas. You guys suck. Alright. Finally some good fights. Finally. Malcolm Wellmaker versus Cameron Simon. This is a good one. Cameron Simon, he has not fought since he got his ass beat by Peyton Talbot, who got fraud checked so hard. And Malcolm Wellmaker is a UFC debutante coming off the Contender Series. Malcolm Wellmaker, going into this fight and just looking on paper, I was like, Simon. Absolutely. I am someone who's been very high on Simon. I really like his skill set. I think he's a very well-rounded fighter. He's got good grappling, good striking, and he's dog tough. He's dog tough, and he's only lost to good guys. But then I looked at it, and he only beaten weaker opposition. And then I've looked at Wellmaker, who's also beaten weaker opposition, but he's beaten them far better. I came into this fully, before tape, going Simon all day. I watched tape on Simon. I'm like, Simon all day. I watched tape on Malcolm. I'm like, I really like Simon. And then I thought about it. I just really like Simon. I'm just picking him because of that. So I'm now going to be objective with it and be honest with you. I really think Malcolm Wellmaker takes it. I'm haphazard to pick it by TKO. He can. I don't know. I still think Simon's good. The problem with Simon is he was landing better shots on Peyton Talbot, to be honest with you, but they just weren't hurting him. He just couldn't do anything to him. He did get finished by Talbot. Do I think Talbot or Wellmaker the harder hitter? Both guys are powerful. I'm gonna go with Malcolm Wellmaker by TKO. I was going with Wellmaker, but like I'm just like was trying to think of like how do I want to pick him to win, but I'm gonna have to go TKO. I think I wrote decision initially, but I talked myself into TKO. Odds-wise, Wellmaker's probably a big fit. Wow! Minus 120 compared to Simon at plus 100. That's a good bet on Wellmaker, honestly. It's a good bet on either guy, but I really think Wellmaker is a much better fighter, so I'm definitely going with him. I will be betting that. Just straight a money line. That's a money line pop right there. That is beautiful. Go out and bet that right now. Damon Blackshear versus... I can never say his goddamn name. Olatung Haley. Olatung Haley. I've heard it pronounced so many times. When I go say it, it just doesn't come out. It just doesn't come out. Olatung Haley. Piss off with that. Damon Blackshear, man. How long has it been since he last fought? It's been a while. I don't remember the last time we've seen Damon Blackshear. In fact, I think he's got to be one of the most inactive fighters. And no, he fought like 20 days ago. What was it? March 15th. He fought March freaking 15th. This guy, he fights very frequently. It's not the first time he had an insanely like quick turnaround. After he beat Jose Johnson, he made a return against Mario Batista. Like, this guy fights a lot. He had a big break in between the Batista fight and then whoever he fought next. I think it was Cody Stamann. No, it was Montel Jackson. But like, he still fights overall very frequently. I think Jamon Blackshear is very good. He is powerful. He is a bat out of hell on the feet. Same thing with Alateng Lee. These guys are going to absolutely throw down, and I think this is going to be a really good fight. I don't know why I didn't click on this so you can see, like, no. Yeah. I really think these guys are going to throw down. The main thing that really leads me towards Jamon Blackshear is, my God, he's got a reach and height advantage that I think he's really going to use. Also, on the ground, he's much better on the ground. He's very sneaky. He's very sneaky on the ground. Now, how the fuck did Montel Jackson knock him out with one punch? I'm scared of that. That's what really scares me. And why I gotta pick Jamon Blackshear. I think he's good. I think he's better than Alateng Lee. But I don't know, the chin scares me. I also just got a sneak peek at the card, and there's someone else's chin who scares me even more. Jamon Blackshear is a massive favorite, so yeah, I'm gonna go with him. I already wanted to pick him. I was gonna go with him, but yeah, be wary of that. Minus 440 for Jamon Blackshear, plus 340 for Alateng Lee. And on to a short notice fight we've already talked about. Chris Gutierrez versus John Castaneda. I've broken this fight down already when it was a super short notice fight. Now they actually have some time to train. Like, they actually have like a camp now, which is nice. But I don't know. I don't care much for this fight, to be perfectly honest with you. My opinion hasn't really changed. I think Gutierrez is a better minute winner. Good kicks, but questionable fight IQ. Why Castaneda is better grappling and more of a dog. Way tougher. So I'm going to be leaning towards Castaneda. Odds wise, Castaneda's underdog, plus 110. Gutierrez minus 130. Makes sense. Even Elder versus Gage Young. This is too short notice of fight for me to really want to break it down, to be perfectly honest with you. Where are my notes on it? Did I not write notes on this? Because what I did. Did I not? Oh, I did. Elder, he's more battle tested. He's a stronger grappler, but he can get hit. I also just don't think he's that good, to be honest with you. But he's going up against a debutante. Short notice debutante coming off the Contender Series. Gage Young's been taken down quite a bit. He has a good get-up game, which is nice, so he gets up from these takedowns. But his main thing is he has an absolute freak amount of power. He's very strong. I'm still just going to go with the more experienced guy, Evan Elder, to get it done. I think he's going to put in heavy wrestling and he's going to be taking him down. But on the feet, if Gage Young can land, he can kill. Odds-wise, Evan Elder is minus 230. Gage Young is plus 190. Makes sense. The short notice is also a big factor. I alluded to it. But who's got probably the worst chin on this card? It's you, Chanel. I thought Matt Schnell retired. I then looked it up and I was like, oh, he did retire. And I'm shocked. He's back. Well, thankfully, he's going up against a guy who has absolute no power, which is good old Jimmy Flick. But I don't know, man. You really want me to pick Matt Schnell in any capacity? You want me to pick Jimmy Flick in any capacity? Jimmy Flick, I don't think is that good either. But yeah, Jimmy Flick, better grappling. Chanel can be a sneaky grappler. Chanel has no chin. It'll be a banger of a fight. Chanel will probably die, though. I think Jimmy Flick might get probably one of the very first knockouts of his career. But I don't know. I just wrote Flick question mark. I'm just gonna say Flick question mark. I'm not gonna pick a specific way. Jimmy Flick is up plus 235, underdog minus 290 for Chanel. I'm picking Jimmy Flick. I'm betting Jimmy Flick. Piss off. Oh, finally. This is a great main card. This is a great 6-fight main card. Have we had a 6-fight main card recently? If we did, it sucked. But Ikram Aliskerov versus Andre Muniz. This was also a fight that was supposed to happen. I believe I broke it down. Either way, as you know, I am pretty high in Ikram Aliskerov. I know I was dead set wrong on him versus Robert Whittaker. And the thing that doesn't sit well with me is not him losing to Whittaker, because I rate Whittaker very highly. The thing that doesn't sit well with me is he's Whittaker's first knockout since 2015. Yeah. So the chin worries me. His other loss right there was to Hamza Chimaev, who also knocked him out. I don't have an issue with that because Chimaev has had much more recent knockouts than Robert Whittaker, but still. But overall, regardless, Andre Muniz I don't think is the best. Andre Muniz is heavily reliant on his grappling, and he's just an above average grappler for the middleweight division. Ikram Aliskerov is an excellent grappler, fighting in combat sambo, and I still think Ikram Aliskerov has really good power in his hands. I'm taking him by KO, and I think that's a pretty easy pick. He's probably going to be a massive favorite. Where the hell is he? Where is he? I'm trying not to look at the odds. Minus 650 for Aliskerov and plus 470 for Muniz. You really don't want people to make money on this fight. Cool, I guess. Yeah. On to the next fight, Randy Brown versus Nicholas Dalby. Had to clear my throat for a second. Randy Brown, man, this is a hard one for me. I want to just instantly say Randy Brown. He's long and lanky for a division, and he's overall a very solid point fighter. He's got a massive height and reach advantage, so he can keep Dalby at distance like he wants. But we've seen Randy Brown just get held up against cage before. We've seen him get cage pushed, and we've seen him knocked out. But Nicholas Dalby, I don't think is as good as that, to be perfectly honest with you. But it's a hard one. It's an absolute hard one, just because we have to sometimes base off the poor performances of other fighters, and Randy Brown just didn't look the best against Brian Battle. Granted, Battle was heavier and cheated and more physical, but Nicholas Dalby is freaking 40 and he's had a lot of fights. So I don't know, it's a weird one. I'm going to be going Randy Brown again. I just think him fighting at range is going to be the better avenue for victory, and I just think he's the more solid fighter at this age and at this moment in their careers. Randy Brown is going to be minus 238 favorite over a plus 185 Nicholas Dalby. Yeah, I can see that. Oh, this is a good one. Michel Pereira versus Abus Magomedov. I don't know if I'm still forgiving Abus for his losses. I still don't know if I've forgiven him for his awful performance against Sean Strickland, where he had one round of cardio and completely gassed. He got beat up by Barrio and he went to a decision, but Barrio, even though I'm very high in the fighting nerds, I think Barrio is not the most exciting, and I don't think he's the best. People think he's the best and most championship caliber. I don't see that. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't see that. And he did beat Bruno Ferreira, who I absolutely picked Bruno Ferreira to win, so I ate my words there. I don't know. But Michel Pereira, yes, he lost to Fluffy Hernandez, but we saw that coming. That's not a bad thing. He actually lasted a lot longer I did against Fluffy Hernandez. I thought he could have knocked him out, to be honest with you. So I don't want to rate him highly off a loss, especially a loss where he has ass beat. But I think his cardio is better than Abus. Abus has been working on his cardio, yes, but I just overall think Michel Pereira is probably going to have the better cardio. He doesn't do the flashy, crazy, chaotic stuff he once did. I wish he did. But he is still a very fast, furious puncher, striker, and grappler. And he's absolutely going to go for the finish. So still very, very much entertaining. But Abus is also like that. I feel this might end up being a battle of who gasses out first. But either way, I just think it's going to be a card crash. So I'm going to take it. I'm going to go Michel Pereira today. It is done via TKO. I think he'll be the more potent power puncher from what we've seen of the two guys. But I think this is going to be a good fight. Michel Pereira is a minus 135 favorite over the plus 114 Abus Magomedov. I think that's actually a very good bet for Michel Pereira. Or Abus, if you're on the Abus side. I'm going to be on the Michel Pereira side. I think that's a solid line. And I'm going to be salivating to get him at that line, to be honest with you. Alright. On to the next fight. I don't know why this one's higher than... Why is this higher than Ikram Pereira? Why is it higher? Oh well, regardless, Giga Chikadze versus David Onama. Giga Chikadze is older now. Giga Chikadze, I think his best years are behind him. He's still overall a solid fighter, and when it comes to his technical kickboxing, he's still one of the best. His liver kick is absolutely vicious, and he will destroy anyone if it hits it. And the problem is he's in slower and not as good anymore, so he's not hitting that Giga kick. Simple as that. David Onama, on the other hand, I think is powerful. I think he fights very long. Even though it's same reach, he fights very long. And I just think overall, I'm very impressed with a lot of David Onama's performances. Tip back in the past, I would pick Giga. Back in the past, I would absolutely pick Giga. But at this day and age, I'm going with David Onama to get it done. I think Giga is very durable. He went 5 rounds against Samurai Cater, who butchered him and beat the shizer out of him. The fact that he's didn't get finished there tells me that he can take shots. He can absolutely take it. So I'm going to be going with David Onama to win it by a decision. Make no mistake, too, if it gets on the ground, David Onama absolutely has the advantage. He maybe even get a submission, but I'm going to go with David Onama. Also, by the way, I wrote Giga TKO. I don't know why I did that. When did I swap? I swear to God, I went into this thinking it was all just going to be David Onama. But all right. And on to the co-main event of the evening. That should not be the fucking co-main event of the evening. This is Kansas. We really sanctioning murder? We're really okay with this? Anthony Smith against Zhang Ming Yang might not actually be murder now I'm thinking about it. To be honest with you, I thought Anthony Smith would get murdered by Ryan Spann, and we saw what happened there. It's a weird fight. Anthony Smith is at the end of his career. He said this is a retirement fight, and I even said, why the hell they gave me this guy for my retirement fight? Zhang Yang is a vicious, chaotic, nightmare marauder in round 1. He's never won a fight that's went past round 1, but he has 18 wins. That we're all in round 1. Granted, the level of competition for all of those fights were not good. Simple as that. He didn't beat good guys. Ozzy Diaz is Ribeiro and then Diaz are the best opponents he's beaten. But looking now off his Tapology page, who has he beaten otherwise? Oh, I'd tell you if it didn't freeze on me. Yeah. Oh, man. Okay. He's beaten Chan Seng-hyo, Kai Bo Zhang, Hong Dong-gong, Kai Bo Zhang again, Hong Yang-tian. I'm not even going to pronounce that one, but I'm not going to try it. Chan Seng-ho. Like, who are these people? Who are these people? They're not good. He's crushing cans. But at this stage, in this point in his career, Anthony Smith is a can that has some spikes on it. It's a can that if you mess up, it could roll over and stab your shit and kill you. But yeah, so that's why I'm hesitant on this. The smart answer is Zhang Mingyang to get it done by TKO. But make no mistake, there's a world where Anthony Smith could absolutely dog it out, or Zhang Mingyang can just make some bad fight IQ moves that Anthony Smith capitalizes on. What's his name? What's his name did to Anthony Smith? Fudge, what was his name? Vitor Petrino. So overall though, I still just think it's going to be Zhang Mingyang to knock him out. Anthony Smith, he has poor leg kick defense and he always quits in his fight, so this should not be the co-main event. On to the main event of the evening, which is the best fight of the night. This is the best fight in the card. This is a great fight. I'm genuinely excited for this fight. We have Ian Machado Garry versus Carlos Prates. Oh boy. Ian Garry is 27 years old. Jesus Christ, I'm older than the boy. He has 15 wins, 1 loss, 7 knockouts, 1 submission, 6'3" in terms of height, orthodox stance, 74-inch reach, disadvantage, 74.5. A 0.74 takedown average, a 59.45% significant strike accuracy, minus 125 favorite, significant wins over Michael Page, Jeff Neal, Neil Magny, and D-Rod. Carlos Prates is going to be 31 years old, 21 wins, 6 losses, 16 knockouts. 16 knockouts, 3 submissions, 6'1" in terms of height, switch stance, 78-inch reach, advantage, a 0.44 takedown average, a 57.63% significant strike accuracy, plus 105 favorite. Underdog, sorry, what the? He has significance over Neil Magny, the Leech, Charles Radke, and Trevin Giles. This is a great fight. So, some things to note. The first and common narrative that everyone's pointing out is that Ian Machado Garry is a better grappler. We did see him have very good grappling exchanges against a Shavkat Rakhmonov, but I think that's just more so Shavkat is a very good offensive grappler, but his defensive grappling leaves stuff to be desired. But then again, we also did see him have really good grappling against MVP, but MVP doesn't have any grappling, so... The main thing those fights really prove, though, is that Ian Machado Garry is well-rounded. He's been heavily working on his grappling. I think it's better, but I don't think he's some elite ground guy, submission guy. There is a possibility he could hold Prates down for 5 rounds, but I don't see that. We've seen the fighting nerds are primarily strikers, as we saw with Jean Silva. But it was the kind of thing where, oh, Bryce Mitchell's this elite-level black belt grappler. What happened when John Silva fought him? Granted, Prates isn't good on the ground as John Silva, but still, Prates is decent. We have seen some submissions from him. He does have some grappling. He's been out-grappled before early on in his career. Then there's the notion of, oh, Carlos Prates is a quitter. We pull up videos of him quitting and getting knocked out and yada, 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 yada. So, about that. About Carlos Prates being some kind of quitter who always gets knocked out. When was his last loss? 2019. When was his last time he got knocked out and quit? 2017. Yeah, it's been almost 10 years. It's been 6 years since he lost. Since then, he's beaten the piss out of people. And the thing is, too, as his competition has gotten better, he's gotten better. Because you look here and you're like, decision against Joseph Lozano, ugh. Vinicius Donzinzio, ugh. Alright, Rafael Silva, but then he's getting knockouts. And then he gets into the UFC. Knockout. Who the fuck knocks out Neil Magny the way he did? Like, I personally myself, my favorite of the fighting nerds is actually Carlos Prates. I will acknowledge this is the hardest test they face because Ian Garry is no joke. People give him all the crap for being a cuck or like being a wag or whatever. He's a very skilled and talented fighter, and that loss he has is to Shavkat Rakhmonov, who's never lost. I've seen some people saying they're not high in Shavkat now. These people are contrarians or whatever. Ian Garry's good. Carlos Prates is good. I'm going to be leaning slightly towards Carlos Prates because the main thing is Ian Garry, I don't think he's that good of a grappler to be able to hold him down for that long. And striking wise, I genuinely think Prates is better because Prates, yes, he has insane power, but if you watch him, he is patient, he is technical, and he is very well fighting at range while still fighting. He does not just poke and prod and back off. He pokes, prods, and then he bloods you. He has a big reach advantage too, and his switch stance fighting is good. I think Ian Garry has the speed advantage on the feet, which could pose problems, but I think the switch stance ability of Prates can pose problems for Garry. I think each of these guys have a weapon to go shot for shot with each other's weapon, which is why I rate this as such a high fight. The cardio is the true main issue I feel for Prates, because he has never been 5 rounds. He's only ever been scheduled 5 rounds once. I had to look that up before this video. And Garry has gone 5 rounds of Shavkat Rakhmonov winning the later rounds. I'm going to be going with Carlos Prates, and I'm going to be picking him to get it done by KO. Yeah, that's a hard one, but if it goes the distance, I don't see Prates winning, and I can see Garry getting knocked out. Yes, it was a while ago. So same thing with Prates, where Prates got knocked out a while ago. Ian Garry got clipped a while ago by Song Kinan. But he did get landed. A straight shot did land from Shavkat Rakhmonov, and if that same shot landed from Carlos Prates. But Garry's smart, and I don't know if he's going to let that same shot land on him. It's hard. It's a very hard fight to pick. I'm going to be going Prates because I think he could win. But also, if you're asking who I want to win, no offense to Garry, but I'm rooting for Carlos Prates hard. And that has been the card. UFC Fight Night Kansas, a very, very good card. For a fight night. For a fight night, it's a good card. I love the 6-fight main event, main card, and I really love the main event. So, please, as always, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Once again, this has been your boy Gomi, and bye-bye.